I'm Jennifer Purcell, and welcome to my podcast, Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge, where we will discuss, discover, and learn more about the challenges and triumphs of those with NLD and other learning challenges. I do have a website for this podcast, and it is called livingwithnld.com. I also have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter account for the podcast. They are all under the same name, which is Living with NLD. I also have a YouTube channel for the podcast, which can be found by Googling the title of the podcast, which is Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge. I would like to tell you about a nonprofit that I use for my research for this podcast. It is called the NVLD Project, and I use their blog for my research. They are a nonprofit that is based in New York and is trying to get NVLD back on the DSM, and they provide many resources for people with NVLD on their website. I'll provide you with the website for them in the podcast description. All proceeds from the ads on this podcast will be donated towards the NVLD project. Please feel free to explore the other topics on the podcast, and hopefully you will learn something new from them. I hope you enjoy today's episodes. And Happy New Year. Sorry I took a couple weeks off, but I've been dealing with a about 13-week migraine, pretty much nonstop roller coaster where it feels like sometimes a sledgehammer has hit my head, and coupled with nausea. So had to take a little bit of break there, but hopefully I'll be doing better soon with that and be on the mend. So today's episode is about NLD and positive self-talk, something I've been trying to do more of recently. Do you struggle with positive self-talk because of being a neurodivergent or neurotypical? Why do you struggle with it? And how do you try to improve it so it's not so much of a struggle? I want to explore these questions today because I've been trying to have better self-talk ever since I lost 40 pounds for the fourth time in my life, and I'm trying to keep it off. I also want to help encourage others, not only neurodivergents, men and women, but everyone else and neurotypicals too. I'm including everyone because I know this is something that every human has difficulty with regardless of who you are. Let's start by exploring some articles that are about how to improve positive self-talk and why it's so hard for you to have it. Why is it hard for women to have positive self-talk? I think it's hard because society makes it hard for us to enjoy being ourselves, and this is true for both men and women and neurotypicals and neurodivergent. Society wants us to live up to high standards of beauty, perfection, social status, fitness, intelligence, etc. It doesn't encourage us to be our authentic selves, which is wrong. The first article was posted on July 18th, 2013, and is titled 3 Tips to Improving Your Positive Self-Talk, and is by SWSG Blogging Corps. Quote, I found that I was not practicing what I was preaching as I neglected to use those same strong communication skills with myself. Communication starts with the inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. It serves as our trigger for the action, and our behavior is influenced by our thoughts patterns. I strongly believe that if we can work to change our thought patterns, we can start to change our actions and empower ourselves through positive self-talk. One of the easiest ways to start engaging in positive self-talk is through positive affirmations. Positive affirmation statements are used to serve as encouragement or a reminder of a desired goal or outcome. It is usually a short and simple statement that can be repeated multiple times to replace patterns of negative self-talk. Remember, if we are strong women, we are not afraid to shout out loud. So don't be afraid to say it out loud to yourself. If I feel myself getting overwhelmed and thinking negatively, I will tell myself, you are present, you are aware, you are powerful, as it keeps me grounded, focused, and empowered to move forward confidently. If you are unsure where to start in creating your positive affirmations, download the Positive Affirmations application for inspiration. Another great tip is focusing on becoming more optimistic. Being optimistic does not only mean viewing the glass as half full. Being optimistic also means applying positivity to yourself and believing in yourself. One of my clients once told me that she is facing a difficult challenge that she is unsure if she will be able to handle. She tells herself that she needs to say that she can do it, know that she can do it, and believe that she can do it. Say it, know it, and believe it. If you find yourself feeling pessimistic about something that is going on in your life, take a moment to recognize the strengths, positives, and possible opportunities for growth. To start changing your thoughts. Changing your thoughts will inherently change the way you handle challenges because you will focus less on the problem and more on the solution. Finally, be kind to yourself, which means practicing a daily self-care routine. Um, to reduce the negative chatter of your inner dialogue, you must take care of yourself. Do not allow yourself to become exhausted. When people become physically and mentally exhausted, many will internalize their frustrations and fears, which contribute to negative self-talk. If you know that you if you know that you have a busy day ahead of you, be sure to schedule time throughout your day to take a mental and physical break. If you need a treat, do not hesitate to reward yourself. How to improve positive self-talk for women. So, I'm just going to pause for a second there. That was definitely a good tip with the affirmations because I've been telling myself more lately that I can do things that I doubted I could do in the past because, um, well, it's quite simple. I want to believe that I can do things more because I hate second guessing myself and I don't like having low self-esteem or low confidence in myself, and I don't like seeing it in others or hearing it in others. So I try to encourage it in other people as well. And don't get me wrong, it's not an easy thing to do. But if you keep trying, it does get a little bit easier each time. And it does feel really good to do it. And it also feels good to help other people do it as well. And being able to take breaks is a good thing as well, and being able to treat yourself and know that you did a good job on something is a good thing also. So the second article is titled Positive Self-Talk, How Talking to Yourself is a Good Thing, and was medically reviewed by Timothy J. Legg, who has PhD. Um, Updated on June 26th in 2020 by Kimberly Holland. These tips can help. Quote number 1, negative self-talk traps. Certain scenarios may increase your self-doubt and lead to more negative self-talk. Number 2, check in with your feelings. Stop during events or bad days and evaluate your self-talk. 3, find the humor. 4, surround yourself with positive people. 5, give yourself positive affirmations. Why is it hard for men to have positive self-talk? How to improve positive self-talk for men. The third article is titled 75 Most Powerful Positive Affirmations for Men by Shubhahuma Shularka. 20 daily positive affirmations for men. 1. I am strong and resilient. I can handle every situation. And these can probably apply to women too, actually. I am in the process of becoming the best version of myself. My strongest desires are being fulfilled now. My world changes with my mindset and thoughts. I am enough talented and I know how to sell my talent. Why is it hard for neurodivergents to have positive self-talk? How to improve positive self-talk for neurodivergence? So the next article goes into this, so I'll let that article answer it. It is titled, it is written by Nicola James, a psychologist and founder at Lexic, entitled Neurodiversity and the Power of Self-Talk, and was written on July 8th, 2022. That was last year. Self-talk can, quote, self-talk can infiltrate every aspect of a person's life, whether it's positive or negative, and can have a huge influence on the way we feel in our day-to-day. Many of us believe our thoughts and take them to be true reflections of ourselves. As a neurodivergent person, you can often find yourself facing many challenges, obstacles, and negative experiences early on in life. Because of this, we may start to compare ourselves to people who we assume find life easier, causing us to think negative thoughts such as, I'm not good enough or I'm broken. Many of my clients have been no stranger to this lack of self-acceptance, and I've come to realize that is a challenge for many. Believing I wasn't good enough. I have dyslexia, and it was a huge challenge for me growing up in at school where there was so much value placed on the grades I achieved. I struggled to get I struggled to get A grades, so I constantly find myself believing that I wasn't good enough. This also taught me to internalize my self-worth, which meant I was putting a lot of emphasis on what others thought of me as I was growing up. The problem here is when we internalize our self-worth, we give other people the ability to cloud it with different judgments and values, and so there becomes no consistency in our self-worth. Shift the narrative. A revolutionary time in my life was when a coach advised me to start looking for my self-worth internally. I started to listen to how I talked to myself, whilst developing a list of things I was good at and focusing on what I wanted in life. By cultivating my internal boundaries, the tone of my internal dialogue started to shift. I started to become more gentle with myself and was able to pick myself up if I noticed I was harshly talking to myself. I soon realized that not all my self-talk was true. By mindfully listening to my thoughts, I was able to develop kinder, more positive self-talk, which allowed me to then decide my self-worth. I could set positive boundaries around situations I faced by traveling through life on my terms rather than being so caught up with what other people thought. Um, Is your self talk negative? Here are a few tips to help you shift your inner dialogue. Identify negative thoughts. Recognize situations where your negative self talk is elevated. If you can pinpoint these situations and notice when your negative self talk tends to take place most, you can anticipate and prepare. Positive affirmations. Develop lists of these things you are good at and things that make you happy. Focusing on the positives may be enough to redirect your negative thoughts. Try writing small reminders on post-its around your home and working environment. Try not catastrophizing. Many of us are guilty of letting that one negative thing repeat as a highlight reel in our heads. Try to accept the situation, dissolve it, and move on. Set your boundaries, recognize, give praise to yourself for your achievements, and try to let others set your boundaries for achievements. Wow. Well, that was a good one. I definitely can relate to that one a lot. And I think you know what I'm about to say. But yeah. Sorry, I'm just taking a moment to think. So, it definitely is good to try to remind yourself that you are not as bad as you think you are, and you can't beat yourself up over your mistakes. And I know I tend to do that too many times, and I've been working on that. And I'll share a quick story and then wrap up. We were skiing over the holidays, and I surprised myself. I did not psych myself out at all or second guess myself. I had so much self-confidence, and definitely what contributed to that was my running that I've been doing recently for a half marathon that I'm training for that is coming up really soon in less than 2 weeks. And that has been helping with my stamina and with my skiing. And that just made my heart beat for joy and made me smile from ear to ear and made my brother really happy for me and my parents really happy. And yeah, it made it so much easier for me to enjoy skiing and not get tired and actually beat my brother down most of the runs, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoy the holidays as well, and I hope that you found something useful in this episode. I'm going to be writing some more episodes, so sorry if there is some break in between episodes, but if there is, it's the migraines that's been really hard recently, so just bear with me. Thank you. Love you guys. As I wrap up, there are some things I would like to share with you. I do have a website for this podcast. It is called livingwithnld.com. I also have a Facebook and Instagram page for this podcast. It is called Living with NLD. I will include the links for those in the description. In conclusion, I would like to hear from my audience. If you know individuals with NLD that I could interview for this podcast, please email me at livingwithnld@gmail.com. What are you interested in learning about NLD? I know I'm not an expert, but I do know I have the living experience of having it. I would like you to practice journaling about your gifts and differences. Also see if there is a way that you can make that difference become easier for you to do than it originally was. Thank you for listening today, and please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Thank you. Bye.